Welcome everybody to the Steve and Bobby Show. My name is Steve Williams, and I'm here every weekend with my co-host, fellow host, the man of the hour. Let me see, what else can I put?
I'm Bobby Bleed.
Yeah, Bobby Bleed too, right next to me.
It feels good to be back, man. We took some good time off.
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah,
everyone had an amazing time for the holidays, as good as it could get. We know it's hard out there right now. We're all going through this whole pandemic. We're all living through everything that's crappy about it. But I know many of us are trying to do the best that we can to get through these times. And so hopefully everyone had a good time off. I know I did, Steve. Hopefully you did.
I did too.
And we're moving us, through this as best as we can. But yeah, so much has happened.
So much every day.
So much
every day. There's something new. The craziness. We're filming this on Thursday. Yesterday, some craziness. We're gonna talk about that later. But we kind of want to talk about kind of the meat and potatoes of actually what's actually happening and moving here in the country, which is the big two races, the two Senate races in Georgia. That was huge. We had Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff, who won, two Democrats who won. Literally, this is how big of a deal that is. People don't realize how big that. We're talking about Georgia, the southern state of Georgia. I've lived in Georgia. It's a miracle of what Stacey Abrams and a lot of the foot soldiers on there have done. Even Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang moved down there, pumped in a lot of money there. But yeah, big
groups all over the country. We're all at one time pitching in to go do things in Georgia. So thank you for everybody there. I mean, we can't mention the Georgia race, the success we had there, or the things that happened, the ride up to where we got and how it had a good outlook without mentioning, thank you, Stacey Abrams, for all the hard work that you've been doing. But the rest, a lot of people in this country, a lot of groups, like locally here, we have a group called Mi Familia Vota. They are a national group, I believe, and they had people pitching in everywhere. I mean, people just worked on this campaign and did this. And because of that, I think before we get into that hype, where we were going at, a couple days ago, how I felt, but I did, in my circles of friends and family, they're not as politically involved, and some of them don't understand the hype. It's like, oh, who cares if it's a Democrat or Republican wins again, right? And a reminder for those of you that don't know, that are watching. I mean, the biggest thing here is actually, it is because it's about the control of the House. There are many things that I think many of you listeners and followers, thank you for watching. It's because a lot of things that we've passed in the House aren't even getting to the floor to be voted on in the Senate, because Mitch McConnell, the Republican majority leader, has the ability to stop things from coming to the floor. He has
like a $2,000 stimulus check.
Got $2,000 stimulus check, right? House passed it, and he went there. He didn't listen. He didn't put it out there. And that's because they have the sole power, because they control the House. So, right now, as we stand, actually, right now, it's still 50 seats. There's 100 seats. 50 seats belong to Republicans. 48 have Democrats, and these are the last two races that had to happen. Right? The last two. So if we want any hope to stop the power that the Republicans have, we have to come to a 50-50, right? And 50-50 is half-half, so who has control?
Yeah, so that's the big confusion a lot of people don't know, is the fact of, well, if it's 50-50, and I've been hearing this even with fellow Democrats, we're like, I don't understand how Mitch McConnell doesn't become, how he loses his speakership if it's 50-50, it's tied. Well, a lot of people don't understand that in the Senate, the leader of the Senate is actually not the majority leader. That's actually something relatively new. I think they did this back in the 40s or 50s. I can't remember. I think it was after World War II. The leader of the House is actually the Vice President of the United States. A lot of people don't know that, but that's actually who leads in. Who leads it. So basically what the situation here is that Vice President Kamala Harris can appoint the leader of the House. We all know who that's going to be. It's going to be the senior Senate leader, which is Chuck Schumer, right? He's the Senate leader who is today talking 25th. I don't know if you know that, but today he's been talking 25th today, by the way, and they're talking seriously about it. And we'll get into that later. But let's talk. So in the instance of Senator John, actually there's a lot of first here, really quick. Jon Ossoff is actually going to be the youngest senator elected in the Senate.
Right. If when they finalize it, right? So there was, you guys saw that kind of emotion that was happening, and everyone's getting happy and stuff like that. Let's take a look at this video to see the stuff that's coming forward to kind of see what these predictions actually are.
Can now make a projection in one of the two Georgia Senate runoffs. CNN will now project that Democrat Raphael Warnock is elected to the U.S. Senate. The pastor defeating Republican incumbent Kelly Loeffler. This puts Democrats halfway toward their goal of retaking control of the U.S. Senate.
NBC News now projecting that John Ossoff, the Democrat, will win the Senate runoff in the state of Georgia. And that leads to the projection that Democrats will regain control of the U.S. Senate. It'll be a 50-50 split. Vice President Kamala Harris, Vice President-elect, as Vice President, will have the tie-breaking vote.
First African-American senator in the state of Georgia. Youngest senator since Joe Biden, which is kind of ironic. Joe Biden was elected in the Senate in 1972.
That's right.
John Ossoff is actually going to be the youngest.
Yep, he beats
what's her
Holly.
name?
Purdue. Holly is the youngest right now. I think Holly
Really?
is
Holly from
41.
Missouri? The one that beat
Yeah.
McCaskill?
He's 41 years old right now.
I didn't know that. He's 33. John Ossoff's 33.
Yeah, so when John Ossoff gets sworn in, then that's it. But I mean, looking at that video, I mean, we watched it just like we were watching the Trump election.
Yeah.
the election on November 3rd.
Yes.
We watched Biden. We're like, hurry up,
Yeah, it was
catch up, go
super
past,
exciting.
go
Yes.
past. And it was like it was a replay.
Yeah.
I really did feel like they're gonna go, how is it that, Purdue had the lead, then all of a sudden, boom, at the last minute, he comes back. They just found, there was that accusation that they just found 50,000 votes.
Oh, they
found 50,000 votes out of nowhere. It's like, no, they knew it was there. They just counted the casted ballots.
And to be fair, because listen, I can't think of his name. Rattenberger, what's his name? The Secretary of State there. Don't think that the Secretary of State is all pro-democracy there. Stacey Abrams made this very clear. It's the fact that Donald Trump, he kind of insulted the integrity of Georgia. Not only Georgia, but the governor.
He defended himself.
That's
what
he
it
did.
was.
Well, and Kemp too,
Right.
because he's a big Kemp loyalist.
Yeah, but he's defending himself. Like, I didn't screw up. I did it right. Don't throw me under the bus. Right? Just because he's defending himself doesn't mean he's, all about the democratic
There are
process.
no bastions of democracy. They stole 300,000. They actually purged, and Kemp will admit that. They purged 300,000 votes during the Stacey Abrams Kemp battle. Same guy. So don't think that he's being all pro, They're saying, where addresses don't matter. The Republican thing that they're doing all over the country with these purges.
Right.
But anyway, there's a lot more going on too as well. So, I mean, that's awesome. The Georgia situation is huge, of course, but there are other things going on that are kind of nerve-wracking as well. There was a state in Pennsylvania. There was a Senate race within the state. The guy's name is Senator, I think it's Jim Brewster. Yeah, Jim Brewster, who was going up against a Nicole Zarkili, or the Republican there. And the incumbent, which was the Democrat, won by 68 votes. Very slim margin. So because Pennsylvania doesn't have specific laws about recounts, because there's no laws, and so since there was no laws of recounts, the state certified the votes there. Well, the Republicans were irate at the fact that they couldn't do a recount because it was so close. So they were extremely upset about that. So what they did was when Brewster went up to get sworn in, the Senate refused to swear him in. The lieutenant governor there, probably everybody knows there, I think his name Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman is his name. He is a very outspoken Democrat there. He's part of the progressive, big progressive guy. And when they refused to swear in the senator there, it became chaos within the chambers. This is actually a pretty good video because this is, take a look at the video and see what was actually going on. There was screaming. There was all kind of mess going on there. So take a look. You want to take a look real quick? Or
Just real quick. So that just to understand, I mean, in this country, we're used to you vote, you win, and whatever avenues there are to challenge that win, you challenge it.
That's right.
But the legislators or the people in power don't get involved in that sense.
Yeah.
And this is the case where that didn't happen.
And the fact that not only did the governor certify it, not only did it get administered by the lieutenant governor, which is their state law, the state actually certified it. and turn those certifications in.
Right.
It's a done deal.
So you're having a bunch of elected officials doing whatever they want.
Whatever they want. They're
usurping
basically
the thing and going through,
They're
right?
following the Trump rule book.
All right.
The Trump rule book is just, if you lose, just challenge everything.
All right, so this is what the news is reporting right here.
Take a look.
It's about Pennsylvania. It's not Democrats or Republicans. It's not about simply winning. It's about protecting our democracy.
It started with a surprise move. Republican senators agreeing to unseat Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, who's the president of the Senate.
It is inappropriate to do such. We will not participate in this farce.
With Republicans now in control of the session, they blocked Democrat Jim Brewster from being sworn in. Brewster, who represents parts of Allegheny and Westmoreland counties, narrowly won re-election by 67 votes. Those results certified by the Secretary of the Commonwealth. Senator Camera Bartolotta, who represents parts of Beaver, Washington, and all of Greene counties, joined her colleagues. She tells Channel 11 mail-in ballots could sway who won the 45th district. We talked to the lieutenant governor right after the heated scene on the Senate floor.
You can't have one political party, either Democrats or Republicans, deciding, well, I don't like this election result, so I'm not going to seat someone who was certified.
Fetterman says what GOP senators pulled is undemocratic.
We don't have a state senator, and everyone was treated to an unfortunate vignette that is emblematic of the current state of affairs in politics here. And can't question an outcome of an election simply because you don't like the outcome.
So you basically unseat the lieutenant governor, even though the votes are certified. So now I don't even know how that works. If the state certifies the votes, can they do? I don't even know if that's legal. Like, what are they going to do? Back certify it?
I mean, that's the thing. Is a lot of these laws that we have in place were built in a way that the community, the constituents,
at
the
time,
the huge number actually of representatives would never be able to get together to do these kinds of things.
Yeah.
That there would be enough level-headed people in legislation as legislators that you wouldn't have this happening.
Yeah.
But we've said it time and time again. I've said it over and over again that Donald Trump has exposed these loopholes and did things that the framers and people who've been doing things would not think that someone would actually do them. Because there's no way these people would get elected, or there's no way that all these.
I mean, they were
legislators
saying
would do
that
the same
about Trump.
thing.
There's no way Trump was going to get elected.
That's what I mean.
It was
And then he did.
laughable 5 years ago.
Right. It was.
People were actually literally laughing on the news about
Right.
it.
A year before the election, he was a no way he could do it.
Yep.
That this country would never elect a foul-mouthed,
Yep.
disrespecting, kind of person, but we did it.
And then they were saying once the reality of him getting elected got set in, they were like, oh no, the bureaucracy will reel him in.
Right.
Remember that? That was the other thing.
Yes, because that's the thing. Like if a year beforehand, and you would say no. We'll never separate kids from their parents and put them in cages to the point where you'll never get them back to
Not
them.
in America we
that
do that.
won't
We'll
happen
never
here.
do that. Yep.
We will stop it by the time we get there. It won't get so bad in the next 4 years that we'll talk about the next segment, but that people will be storming the Capitol or plotting to kidnap a governor. It won't get there. Trump won't take it there, regardless if he took it there or not. It's another issue. We'll talk about the next thing, but these things happen, and there's no way around it.
Let me tell you something about, you will be surprised how fragile democracy is. It takes one thing for it. Think of it like dominoes, right? Everything is beautiful, right? Everything is running great. The whole system is great. It looks great. All these set up dominoes. It just takes one thing for that thing to, and we're seeing that in the Trump presidency. I am so glad that Trump lost the election on so many different levels and for so many different reasons. Because what we are seeing right now, and like you were saying, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but what we are seeing right now is, it is insane.
No, it is. It is.
On so many different levels.
And right, look, the first two things that we were talking about, which is, oh man, so
Loeffler,
much to it.
Warnock
but
and Loeffler.
what happened over there, it's great to see the victory of us, being able to get the control
Warnock and
of
Ossoff.
Congress, but at the same time, the amount of votes that someone like Loeffler got.
Yes.
Someone who believes in a lot of these conspiracy theories that Hillary Clinton is a pedophile and eats children and, you know, all those different things. And that there was a strong enough base to get her that many votes, willing to put someone like that into office.
75 million people voted for Trump, even though this guy was bragging that we only had one death from COVID.
Right. And so,
Remember that?
Right. So there's that piece, and then there's also the piece with in Pennsylvania where they're usurping democracy. They're not following the democratic things that we have set forward, and they didn't like the result of the election, so they did the kind of coup of you know, taking their power and just nullifying everything when they don't really have the right to, but they just did it. And we'll have to see if they can get stopped, right? It wasn't intended to be that way. And that's all things that are happening without Trump, right?
Yeah, this
without
is
Trump.
the seed that he planted.
And everyone.
So it's starting to come out of the, you know, when you plant all the seeds all over the place and it's starting to come out the dirt?
Right, and so when he does stuff himself, people don't notice, because what happened? The attorney
in Georgia.
Georgia?
Yeah, the U.S. attorney in Georgia. So you're seeing all this stuff that's going on, right? And then you got another situation in Georgia where the U.S. attorney, you know, think about how rare this is. You got a U.S. attorney in Georgia who, by the way, because we didn't get to talk about this either, but really quick, basically what Trump did was he called the Secretary of State in Georgia to just come up with votes. Okay, that's basically what it is in a nutshell. Okay.
He didn't say come on. He gave him a particular number.
Right.
Exactly.
11,780.
I don't care if you can't do it. You can find this much. You can find 11,000.
He literally said that. And he's on tape. So what happened was that tape got released, right? So this tape got released. So it is being said that the Secretary of State there, his name is Byung, I can't pronounce it, B-Y-U-N-G, I think it's Young, maybe it's Young, Byung Pak. Which is actually, he is the U.S. attorney. He's actually appointed by Trump. This guy is a Republican. He was a pretty good, there was no complaints of him. He was a very fair U.S. attorney. There was no issues with him. He just mysteriously, just out of the blue, bam, just after this tape released, one day after the tape released, he resigns. Resigns. Okay, so he's gone. Christensen, which is a Trump fanatic, comes in, right, takes his spot. So why is all this happening? This is just all this stuff that's going on. It's insane. And then let's not forget that the U.S. attorney, Barr, just quit. How many times?
Right. It's all breaking apart. They know, those closest people to him know that he's breaking.
He's done. Yeah.
He is breaking.
Yeah.
We will talk about some of that in the next step, but he is breaking.
Yeah.
And you see all of these things happening. That is great. You made a post about you want a refund on 2021, and I'm thinking about 2021's kind of starting out okay, right? You want your 7-day refund. I'm like, hey, I want it to get better now from here on in. You're setting up patterns. Trump's been banned. You know these bad things are happening, but it's happening. Things are going. And I've seen someone, and I did it myself, saying we're praying for angels to get the better, for the better of us now to come out and heal.
Yeah.
Look, for the last 4 years, if you want to take it from a religious base, metaphorical anyway, the devil, the evil has come in. In the last 4 years, what you're witnessing now is the exorcism. And it's going to be terrible, it's going to be ugly, but it's going to be going in the right direction. And these are the things that we're just going to have to see. We got 15 more days for 13 more days, I don't know, whatever today's date is, but 2 weeks away.
7,
2 weeks away from having it all be done, and then we go about the regular business and let all of it kind of just start fade away, right?
Well,
that's what we have to do.
Even on what you're saying, there are elements of that right now going on, because even though all of this mess is going on all over the country, just craziness going all over the country, there are things. This is one thing that I like. I'm not a big Biden guy. I'm not against him either. I think he's great. He's 1,000 times better of what we got in there right now. And I think he's decent in the sense of where we need to go. Biden, one thing I do like about him is it's almost like he's non-deterred. He is literally looking forward. He is a sign, okay, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing this, the country's doing this. He very seldom, like the situation that happened yesterday, he was on right now talking about it, but he is very focused about his presidency. Very, very focused. And I got to say, I do like that about him. And a great example of this is his nomination of Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland, if you guys don't know who Merrick Garland is, we were just talking about Mitch McConnell and his craziness, right? And the authority that he had and the power that he had in the Senate. Merrick Garland should have been a Supreme Court pick. Well, the greatness of that is that Biden actually has now picked him for Attorney General. Take a look.
President-elect Biden has selected his choice for Attorney General. Our colleague Jeff Zeleny has learned that the president-elect intends to nominate Judge Merrick Garland to lead the Department of Justice. This is coming as it appears that Democrats are getting closer to securing that Senate majority. And Garland, you'll remember, was also President Obama's pick to serve on the Supreme Court just before he left office, but Republicans had blocked that nomination from even being considered during that election year.
So, I mean, even with all the craziness that's going on, that's the great thing with Biden is that he is extremely focused on his presidency. He's doing what he needs to do, which in my opinion tells me that he is the right man for that job.
Right. So there is no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
With the way things went and the strategies that had to be played to get here, to get someone like Trump out because it was a strong enough base. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. But the actual political timing of making the proposal for Merrick to be the Attorney General after this election was simply because he knew that he would not be blocked by Mitch McConnell.
Very good point.
Because if Ossoff would have lost,
Very good
it
point.
may not have been Merrick.
Very good point.
Right? I don't think it would have been. It might have been someone else.
Or Ossoff would have lost.
Yeah.
Garland probably wouldn't. And that you bring a very, very good point. They were withholding because I think there was talk about the California AG being Becerra.
Yeah.
I think there was talk with him taking that spot because they were concerned that Merrick Garland, because of Mitch McConnell, I don't know what it is about Merrick Garland and Mitch McConnell, but for some reason he doesn't, even though Merrick Garland is well liked within both sides of the party. I mean, this guy was on the, what is that, the Liberty Council, the Republican as at least a moderate. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's a fair judge, he's a good judge, and that's a good thing. You know, that Merrick Garland, I think that's the biggest face for Mitch McConnell, considering the fact that now he's the minority leader, Mitch McConnell.
Right.
Because that's where we're at right now.
Man, a lot of stuff has been happening, and especially just in the last couple days. Yeah. Please stay tuned for the next segment where we are going to be talking about all the drama that happened, and we'll give you our opinions. But if you want to hear anything, please, let us know. Put it in the comments. Put your opinion out there. Everything we say is just our opinion. This is how we see it. Correct us if we need to be corrected. We're always open to it. Troll if you want to troll. Whatever it is. We are just trying to let you know how we feel and what we think it should be like, and just trying to keep you guys up to date on certain things. Thank you for tuning in. And this is Steve and Bobby Show. We'll catch you on the other side.